Hey, here we are. It is the weekend of August the 17th. It's one of the favorite weekends of the year for us on our farm. We're out here doing our fall food plots, which means cool season annuals. Kind of a traditional thing that we always do, the ferminator. We're in here just lightly busting open this ground, a pass, and straddling the previous pass to get an adequate, complete pass across the field with the disc, just to break that crust loose. We're using some Big Tine product seed this year. We've got long range and lockdown. They have a lot of the cereal grains, annuals, brassicas, annual clovers, some Austrian winter pea and a couple others in there, a full spectrum of brassicas, including rape and kale. Love those components. It's one of those things that has full spectrum attraction through the end of the year here into the next spring. But we're doing the ferminator like we always have, and then Casey picked up some liquid fertilizer from BioAg over in Illinois, and we're going to introduce some liquid fertilizer program into our fields this year while we're planting these fall plots to see what that turns out like. But with the weather permitting, we might get a little rain tonight after we get all this in the ground, and we're having a good time no matter what, and we'll be off and running. We are back here in a little plot that we call the South Plot because it's the southernmost on the property. It's one ridge to the east of where camp is at. And this little field is probably about 6 or 7/10 of an acre, not quite an acre. But we've had some phenomenal hunts here in the past. This thing lays out really well. The logging road that runs down to camp breaks off of a pretty steep hill and goes up a draw and then up another steep hill. So we have a prevailing westerly wind here most of the time and a little bit of northwesterly wind, but you can come up that hillside right there and slip on over the break of this hill. We got a cut path, gets you up into a hang-on double stand setup right there. This was a fall planted cereal grain combo plot with brassicas and annual clovers in it and a spattering of perennial clovers last year. And we just came in here and mowed it off after the turkeys had picked all the seed heads off. We mowed it off. I waited a week and I sprayed it with Liberty and AMS, ammonium sulfate, and burned it down. And we're in here today starting it all over again. Basically, these plots that we do this way, they're annual plots, but we get about 11 months out of them. By the time you factor in the mowing, the spraying, and the dead period between getting it planted and before the new plants jump up again, we're making these annuals a 1 year, almost a year-round plot. Doesn't work for everybody. We definitely know that our critters consume all the grain heads off, or nearly all of them, so you can make an assessment of that. But so there's no worry for us having a super high density of volunteer crops coming in. But that's one thing that we definitely assess every year. It works great. The turkeys are attracted to this like no other when those grains are dry in July, and they just clean it off. The benefit of not having to do a lot of work on an annual field that we let go the entire season is that we're not in here with a tractor on top of this soil several times a year and compacting the soil. And all we're doing is just lightly disking the top of this. We're not really even deep disking with a moderate angle on the ferminator, but you can see how what we like to use the word, Casey introduced me to it, but it's a very mild and mellow soil, but it breaks up real nice, just got a perfect amount of moisture in it. And you hear a lot of times about disking all the time creates a hard pan underneath the surface. I think even in no-till drilling, you eventually have to break a subsoil, but just again, the reduction of passes on here creates a non-hard pan, or a very minimized harder pan underneath what we're disking here. The evidence is when it rains, it soaks in nicely. We got great root structure on our plants, and the proof is in the pudding, as they say, because the plants do very, very well. I mentioned earlier, Casey brought some liquid fertilizer over for us to try, and this will be the first time ever that I've attempted this on the farm, and I'm excited to see what the results are. The takeaway here is that there are more macronutrients and NP and K available in this tank than there would be in an equal amount of granular fertilizer, but it also has humic acid and some of the micronutrients, and the way that this is formulated is going to be more easily and readily available for the plants to immediately take it up. We've disked the ground open one time. We're going to surface apply this. We're going for a rate of about 15 gallons an acre, and then planting directly in behind that, and as soon as those plants sprig, it's right there ready for them to use. So I'm really excited to see the results. Casey's had some super results in Illinois this year with his beans and things, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to do with the fall food plots for us here in Indiana.